If you've watched any of my stop motion videos in the past couple years, you'd probably see that I do have a good amount of custom painted figures, and I've shown a couple of them off through like room tours and stuff, but there's a good few that I haven't shown off, and a good few that I'd really like to talk about, so, you know, I just figured I'd make this quick, easy, slop video to just show off my customs. First off, I'm just going to show a few spare fight line figures that I got, and I painted them and slightly sculpted them into something else because I had to, you know, I just had some spares. First off, I had a spare Lolbit and Indo, and I turned them into a Funtime Foxy and a Mindo. I mean, these were just really simple, quick recolors. In fact, I mean, you can tell, like, the paint isn't even, like, really done well, but, I mean, they look decent from afar, and I just did these for fun, just quick little projects, because, yeah, they're neat to have, and, you know, I just got spares and turned them into something neat. And this one is a lot more in-depth. It's Golden Freddy, specifically from the movies, and, I mean, you can see I did a much better paint job, still not perfect, but, best I could do. And, you know, did a little bit of sculpting. This was actually a spare Chocolate Freddy, because for some reason I got a spare of him, and yeah, I think he turned out pretty good. I like it. But now on to the figures that have been actually used in videos. Not all of these have been used in videos, but a majority of them have been, which is good. Shows that I've actually done these for a reason. You know, we got the Nightmare Mangle head that I just turned into a Monty. This was before I had any type of like sculpting clay or whatever, so it's not like great. You can still see a lot of the, like, it still has the nose. That's probably an issue that I should probably fix, but from afar, yeah, it looks like the ruined Monty, and yeah, that's cool. I like the animation I did with it. Go watch that, I guess. And this one was just kind of pointless. I had a spare Chica head, didn't know what to do with it, just kind of made it dirty, blacked out the eyes in case I wanted to do something with that, but I mean, yeah, that's basically just a spare part. If I need this for a custom, don't expect to see that in the future. Next off, we have a few baby customs. Again, this was just made with spare parts, so I didn't have like a full body. I just have these in case I need a scrap baby figure for a video. So, you know, it's not perfectly done, but like some of these figures are basically just if I need the character for a video, I have it. And this gets the point across. It fits the bill, and I think it looks pretty all right. This was one of my first customs, so it's not like that perfectly well done, but it's decent, I'd say. And then this is like my most basic custom ever. It's just I had another spare baby head and gave it blue eyes. I actually like the blue eyes better, and I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's it for those two. And next off, we have two of my favorite customs, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. You know, two of some of the most important characters in the series, and they never got figures, so these are pretty necessary. Thankfully, I was able to get a spare Golden Freddy body and head, and that worked out really perfectly, and I was able to make this really simple but really effective Fredbear custom. And yeah, it just looks good. It looks perfect. It's completely fine. I don't have the rest of... Oh, I don't have another spare of Golden Freddy, so I just swap out the parts whenever necessary. But usually I have them kept like this because I like that. And Spring Bonnie is more just a mishmash, a mishmash of whatever parts, like Toy Freddy's body and a Bonnie head and Plushtrap's feet. But I added just unpainted Lego studs to make him taller and give him some more kind of mechanical detail, and it makes him really unique in my figures with the kind of different segmented toes and stuff. I think that works really good, especially with him being a rabbit and such. It's not really accurate. This isn't a really accurate figure just in general, but I think it works really good. And to this day, it has one of my best, like, paint jobs with some of the best colors and all that. So yeah, I really like these two. And yeah. And to go along with my Fredbear, I have a Dee Dee from Ultimate Custom Night and, you know, I guess FNAF World. Yeah, I just got a spare balloon boy and, you know, just kind of painted it to kind of look like Dee Dee. It's definitely one of my messier customs, especially on the eyes. Like, I'm not, like, those eyes are very non-circular, which is kind of weird for me. And the eyelashes, yeah, it's just kind of wacky. Not that well painted, but again, this was more just if I need Dee Dee, if I'm ever gonna make an Ultimate Custom Night animation, it's just gonna be nice to have her, and that's cool. And for my final two, you know, McFarlane figures of the video, I have the dog from the movie, which we now know his name is probably Bub, and Monty from Secret of the Mimic. And the colors are looking really washed out, especially on Monty right now, but yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's weird. I just noticed that. Why is he looking so washed out, and why is it not focusing? There we go. But if you can't tell, this is by far my most in-depth McFarlane custom. Basically all of the other ones are literally just repainted, like no sculpting detail whatsoever. But this is, you know, I got clay, first of all, you know, that's pretty much a necessity if I'm wanting to sculpt anything, you know. I have clay now, so that works in my favor. But all of the spare parts went together so perfectly to make the Monty shape. Like, I got a mangle head and Withered Chica's jaw and Balloon Boy's stomach, and like, look at it, it looks good. And yeah, I just used some spare parts, and I didn't have any spare feet, so I made some out of Lego and clay. And since this guy's a Springlock suit, I think it works really well that he has similar leg details to Spring Bonnie. I think that's really cool. You know, it keeps it with the theme, and it keeps the mechanical look that he had in game. And I really like him. I think he's really good, and I used one of the spare ears from Mangle as one of his feathers. And it's not focusing, and it's still pretty washed out, and he looks really pale, but yeah, he looks better in person, I promise. Oh, one last thing. Look at that. That's cool. And a much simpler one is the dog, who, again, like some of the others, isn't a full custom. Just the head is customized from one of just the Bonnie heads that you get in one of the sets, so his jaw doesn't move or anything. And I gave him just a little paper dog collar because the rest of this is just Withered Freddy's body and Classic Freddy's torso, but I don't have spares of those figures, so I'm not going to change them just for this figure. So whenever I need Withered Freddy, I can just pop this guy's head off and it's all good. But I think he looks really good. Again, not particularly accurate, especially not to the games. The head is decently accurate to the movies, but yeah, I just like him. I think he works well, and he looks good. But that's it for the McFarlane figures, and I guess the fight line. But now on to the good few Funko figures that I have. Next off, we have what I think is my first ever custom, and one that I actually made a video about. We have my Springtrap. I guess it's ooh. Forgot that the phone has that function. But yeah, it's dark Springtrap, or I guess, stop it, there we go, there we go, there we go. We have, yeah, and yeah, I made a video on him. Basically, he was a scrap trap, like kind of dark Springtrap hybrid, whatever. So he wasn't, so he didn't have his arm. The arm is a pretty recent addition, and I'll show you why in just a minute. But for my first ever custom, I think the paint still holds up, and it's still one of my bests. And that's pretty surprising. I made it out of a tie-dye Springtrap, and yeah, he looks pretty good. The button, I added a little like shine to it, to the button, and it just kind of, it's a little too cartoony. But yeah, it's a little too much for the, you know, dark and grungy aesthetic to have just a shiny little cartoony button on it. But I mean, it still looks fine. I might paint over that later if I ever care to, but he looks good. I guess my one issue is the ear. Since this is basically just a Springtrap now, there's no reason why he has the missing, like fully missing ear, and that's literally just like a bread tie that I used and glued into place. So it looks kind of funny, but it's neat. Adds some character, I guess. But yeah, I really like this custom, and right after that, we have the reason why I don't use him as Scrap Trap anymore. We have Scrap Trap, and I obviously didn't sculpt this. This was a 3D print that I bought off of like Etsy, and looking back, I don't know if the seller like got permission to sell these, because I remember seeing these like prints online made by someone, and I'm sure the seller just like got the like files for the prints, printed them out, and started selling them. And I mean, they were relatively inexpensive, but the quality was not really up to par. And I mean, I get it, it's 3D printed, so like loose joints like this are bound to happen. But like, he sent me 2 of the same leg, and the head was completely the same part, which I don't think it was supposed to be. So I had to cut off the head and add a joint myself, but I'm really happy with what I did. I added a Lego axle part and a Lego bar piece, and now he has a really satisfying head attachment. Like, that is really, it's really fun to rip off his head. that sounds funny, but it's really fun to do that. And now he's compatible with the Lego, so I can have this guy hold him, and that's funny. But yeah, I do like this custom, and I'm a little mad about the joints because I added did the super glue trick where you like, dab in some super glue and like move it around, and it made the joints rather solid. But that just kind of faded away, and I've never heard that happen. Like, I mean, Scrap Trap is fine. He's pretty fine. Like, I could still use him in an animation if needed. It might be a bit finicky, but the custom I'll show you here in a minute might not be that good because it's another 3D printed one. You can probably guess what it was if you've seen some of my recent videos, but yeah, I still really like him. I think it's nice to finally have like a real piece of Scrap Trap merchandise. Well, not real, because there's not a single real piece of merchandise for this character, but I really like this character. He looks kind of silly, but I like him, and I wish there was more merchandise of him, and I'm happy that I have a figure of him, even if his legs are wrong and wobbly. And a strikingly similar story comes from my Mimic customs. And first I'll show you the one that I made, before I have this 3D printed one. And since I got the 3D printed one, I changed him to be even less accurate. I made him just kind of my own little Mimic design. And I thought to myself, hey, I could change this to the Mimic design from Secret of the Mimic once that game comes out. But that design is so radically different that I really don't think I can do that with this figure, like, at all. I'd have to completely change the head, and the head's my favorite part. I really like the head. Yeah, it's literally just like a box made out of Lego, But look at this. Look at this. He has a moving mouth, and that's really cool for stop motion. I was able to give him a mouth that moves up and down, and I mean, since it's like a Lego bar, take it off if necessary. I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna do that, but it wasn't coming off and I didn't want to break it. But yeah, I think he's pretty neat. I've said that a lot, and I wish his legs were longer, but I made this out of the Radioactive Foxy Funko figure. I skinned him alive and made this out of it, and I think that's pretty neat. Some of the this was my first ever attempt at sculpting, by the way. Like, this is my first time using clay, and I think it shows with the parts that are fully sculpted. Like that leg, like I know it's supposed to be a clump of wires, but it just looks bad. I'm sorry. The newer wires that are like that, I think that looks pretty neat. These struts look kind of lame, and this hand looks pretty horrible, but you know, it is what it is. I still really like the head. I think the head looks nice. The eyes are probably too big, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. He looks fine. I still like him, and I'll still probably keep on using him because of how fun he is to animate. Unlike this guy, who yeah, he just falls apart. Like, yeah. And it's weird because I animated him after doing the, you know, super glue trick where I glued his arms and, you know, like moved it around until they were solid. And now it just doesn't work anymore. I don't know. It might be the heat because this room gets really hot because there's no air conditioning. But yeah, this guy's impossible to move around like anymore. And I think that's kind of sucks because I really like this guy. He looks really fun. I like him. But yeah, that's just bad. That's just bad. I'll try to fix him up whenever or if ever I need him in an animation again because, you know, it's the Mimic. I really like the Mimic. I think he's a great character. I can't even get that arm to stay on right now. That's how bad it is. I'll try to, you know, maybe do the super glue trick again. Maybe try to make it even more, like, just more even overall. And his legs are fine. So maybe I just didn't do it well on the arms. Because the legs, look at that. That's perfect. That's even better than this. Where did he go? Where did I put him? That's even better than this guy. It's just like completely fine legs. So maybe I just did the shoulders horribly. Because yeah, that's bad. That's bad. But again, the sculpt was done really well by the guy who sculpted this. And the guy that sold it to me on Etsy or whatever, parts of it just weren't fully done. Like the head wasn't fully printed out, so I like got some clay and just kind of filled it in. Same with the hand, it was kind of wacky, so I just got some clay and filled it in. But other than that, yeah, he's fine. He's good. And now on to the last two, and I don't really know why I saved these two for last, because these are kind of a boring way to go out, because, again, these are both just basically repaints. So, I don't know, I'll just head on. There's Freddy, but, yeah, upgraded. I mean, he looks fine. I think the weathering is pretty decent. It looks pretty good. The hands aren't too great, but they're hands, so it's fine. I didn't really do much to try to make him look more accurate to the games, because just the proportions are so off in just every single way compared to his in-game model that I'm just keeping it similar so it goes along with the other figures. But yeah, he looks fine. He looks pretty neat. And now on to one of my more recent figures, because I got a spare Monty for Halloween for Christmas, and I wanted to make a Monty that was more similar to my redesign videos, where I gave him green feet and darker pants and I removed the stripes on his, or not stripes, whatever they are, whatever, triangles, just random pointless triangles that were on him. And I also painted his eyes and made his sunglasses removable, and that's pretty cool. It still doesn't really look accurate, but I do like this clunky, like, less streamlined humanoid appearance. I do, and I might actually prefer it more to the in-game models. I don't know. I don't know, though. He still is kind of ugly in a bad way. The tail is still also just completely, like, that's just a bad sculpt. Like, that's just bad. And I mean, I don't think I could, actually, out of all things, I could do that better. I have, like, zero, like, true sculpting experience. Like, I know I said how proud I was of this, but this is, like, really basic sculpting. But I could do better than that, man. I could do better than that. But yeah, that's, I guess that's the last one. That's it for this video. Wait, I forgot a couple. This guy, Spring Bonnie, but he's way too brown. I don't really like that. I don't like how brown I made him. And I also added a clear coat, tested out that because I thought, hey, it'll make him more sturdy, harder to chip. But now he's really sticky. Like, even still, it's been like 2 years and he's still sticky, and he's just really shiny, and that just doesn't fit him. I don't like how he looks, and yeah. Final one for real. Fredbear. I made a box for him. I thought that would be fun. But I made a video about him. You can watch that. I like it. I didn't do the back though, because he actually hangs on the wall. I can actually show you. It's right here. There we go. Okay, that's the end of the video.